Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore!
Hi, friends. Good to see you all. We got a real humdinger for you this time. We have a story for you, or rather our first guest has a story of survival at sea that is just short of absolutely unbelievable, because she and her husband survived at sea for almost 4 months in this tiny raft in the Pacific Ocean. As I say, it's a story the likes of which you've never heard, because there's never been anything comparable. And we will meet them, we'll meet both of them, and hear the story as soon as we meet our unsinkable panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Kitty Carlisle! Tim Cullen! Peggy Cass! And Henry Morgan!
Well, now we are foregathered once more in the family seats. We have, as usual, Kitty, Peggy, and Bill. And in the chair which is reserved for close cousins, we have one of God's most whimsical creations, Mr. Henry Morgan. He laughed. That's a compliment.
I know, but...
I've been feeling very whimsical on the day that he thought you up.
God gets blamed for everything.
Panel, we have a wild sea story to spin, and to help me to describe this incredible adventure, really, I would like you to meet the man who, with his wife, spent 117 days adrift in the ocean on a small rubber raft. His name is Maurice Bailey, and I would like you to meet him now. Mr. Bailey? See you. Thank you. I must say, it must be good for you. You look absolutely marvelous.
Thank you very much.
How much weight did you lose during this?
We each lost about 40 pounds.
About 40 pounds, huh? Well, let's set a little bit of background before we have Mrs. Bailey come out and play the game. You had embarked from England in your own sailing boat and had successfully made it to Panama Canal and were on your way to the Galapagos.
That's right. We were 6 days out from Panama when we were attacked by a wounded whale.
And your vessel sank here.
That's right, yes.
And you had a chronometer so that you could do some navigation.
That's true.
And you were trying to get to the Galapagos. Was that the idea?
That's right. And we were certain of our position up to that point.
Yes.
The chronometer broke, and we then had to
sort of guess where you
our
were?
Position.
And finally rescued almost 4 months later, June 30th, from
That's
March
right.
until June.
That's right, yes.
Now, you're going to come back a little later and pick your wife out for us, aren't you?
That's right.
Well, Mr. Bailey, you're a remarkable man. It's a joy to meet you, and we'll
Thank you.
see a little bit more of you a little later. Boy, what people can do if they are determined. And now let us meet this very brave lady.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Marilyn Bailey.
Number 2.
My name is Marilyn Bailey.
Number 3.
My name is Marilyn Bailey.
And here is the sea saga of Marilyn Bailey. She says, I, Marilyn Bailey, was adrift in a rubber raft in the Pacific Ocean for nearly 4 excruciating months. Together with my husband Maurice, whom you just met, we outwitted death at sea for a longer period of time than anyone had before. Sailing from Panama for the Galapagos Islands in our 31-foot sloop, a wounded whale stuck us in the side. A gaping hole resulted. We knew that the craft was doomed. In 40 frenzied minutes, we managed to transfer some food and belongings into our raft and dinghy. I also took some photographs of our beloved boat sinking into the deep. Look here. The strain obviously shows on Maurice's face as our boat settles lower in the water. And here it is sinking fast, and it's going, and it's going, and it is very nearly gone. With only a 20-day supply of food and water, we caught fish with safety pins and turtles and birds with our bare hands. Agonizingly, a total of 7 ships came into view, one of which we thought saw us. After drifting 1,500 miles and with death cruelly at hand, we were finally rescued by a Korean fishing vessel. We tell the story of our unbelievable 117-day ocean ordeal in a book called Staying Alive. Signed, Marilyn Bailey. And I can't wait for you to hear the details of this adventure, but we must pause to pay our own particular piper.
Tired of losing in life?
Buzzer, please.
Now Buzzer brings you Better Living Through Advertising. Vintage game shows with cool commercials left in. Tonight, starting at 4. Only on Buzzer.
What should we do?
I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
We've always loved taking care of our home, but last year, Grandpa here broke his arm. We realized some home maintenance jobs aren't worth the risk.
That's when we call Leaf Filter to protect our gutters.
Leaf Filter's patented filter technology keeps debris out of your gutters for good.
They gave us a free inspection, and we had the system installed that week.
My only regret is not calling him sooner.
Now we can focus on what we really enjoy.
Join millions of satisfied homeowners. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER today or visit leaffilter.com.
At Grainger, we know dealing with the unexpected is part of your job description. And you made a promise to keep the line running, to power through the downpour, to be the one who always gets it done. And our promise is to help you do it with professional-grade supplies for every industry, plus same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. Because you can't predict the future, but with the right partner, you can be prepared for it. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At over $4 a blade, shaving every day gets expensive. Harry's 5-blade razor offers me a close, comfortable shave. Best part, refills are as low as $2 each, half of what I paid before.
Go to harrys.com/shave to claim your $7 trial.
Now, I'm sure that you cannot have forgotten that we have across the way from us 3 ladies, all saying that they are Marilyn Bailey, who, along with her husband, spent almost 4 months in the middle of the ocean in a tiny rubber raft. And Bill Cullen, let's turn this over to you.
All right, Mrs. Bailey, number 2. The raft that you used was one of those emergency rafts that inflated when you needed it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How long did you had 40 minutes from the time you knew you were going to sink until the boat finally went down?
Approximately that, yes.
Number 3, did you have anything with you for navigation purposes other than the chronometer?
We had a compass and a sextant.
And number 1, I think Mr. Bailey said when he was out here, when the chronometer broke, was when you finally lost all reference to where you were.
That's right, yes.
Now, I'll stay with number 1. Did you have any emergency radio aboard your sailboat?
We had no radio at all on the sloop to begin with.
None at all?
None at all, no.
Not even a battery receiver or anything like that?
Nothing.
Number 2, when these agonizing moments when a ship passed fairly close to you and you couldn't get their attention, how close would you say the closest to these ships?
Within half a mile. We were certainly within half a mile of the ships.
All righty, and then Buzzer takes us, please, to Peggy.
Thank you. Number 1, is that considered a raft?
This?
Yes.
Yes, this is a raft.
Well, now, could you navigate that raft at all?
No, we had a dinghy. We navigated from the dinghy because this isn't dirigible.
It isn't what?
We can't guide it.
I see. Well, now, number 2, in the back of that raft, there's a sort of a hole. What is that for?
That is a ventilation hole, which we also use as a lookout.
Well, number 2, did you spend most of your time in the dinghy or in the raft?
About half and half.
Sort of like you had a winter home and a summer home.
Going out on the back porch.
Number 3, how did you keep, just clean? I mean, did you jump overboard into the ocean and wash up and then come aboard again?
Occasionally, but when it rained, we used to take advantage of that. Yes. And that would be a shower for us.
Thank you. Now, number 1...
Sorry, Peg. Going to Henry Morgan, please.
Fantastic. Number 3, according to the story, you were hit or attacked or whatever by a wounded whale. How did you know the whale was wounded?
Because it was bleeding profusely. The sea around it was red with blood.
Number 1, if the sea around was red with blood, then that would attract other predatory fish, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily. We thought that this was the case. But in fact, there was an awful lot of life in the sea at this point, and the sharks and the predatory fish didn't need to attack the way they would normally if there were no other fish around.
Number 2.
Thank you, Henry. We're going down to
What an ordeal. Number 3, is that raft big enough for you to stretch out in, both of you?
No, there was no possibility of either of us lying down. We were constantly sitting.
For 4 solid months?
Yes.
Number 2, couldn't one of you lie down and the other one sit up?
No, because there were a lot of other bits and pieces in the raft, so there's very little room for us to sit in there even.
Number 1, how did you get along? I mean, did you wind up friends, or did you...
No, we got along amazingly well with each other, yes.
Number 3, what was it that kept you really alive?
Well, I felt that we would always be rescued.
You were always hopeful?
Yes.
And number 2, when you caught these turtles, isn't a turtle an animal with a hard shell? I mean, it's a fish with a hard shell. How did you get the meat out?
Well, we used a penknife to cut the underside of the shell and then opened it up, took the meat out.
And when we hear that bell, that means no more game. Time now to vote, panel, if you will. And we mark our ballots for number 1, or for number 2, or for number 3. Our custom is to pay $50 for each wrong vote, and we pay the group $500 in case nobody comes up with the right lady. And Bill Cullen, you commence, please.
Well, you know, all the ladies had good answers and knew what they were talking about, but number 1 has... You see, you met Mr. Bailey first, and you saw the type of fellow he was, and number 1 is so much like him that I say it has to be number 1. And if it isn't number 1, then the marriage is a mismatch. So on the basis, which is an awful time after 4 months at sea, but that's your problem.
You say it's a tough time to find it out, isn't it, really? Let's go to Peggy.
Haven't you ever heard of the expression opposites attract?
Oh, you mean like fellas and girls?
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Well, number 1 smiled a lot when you called her husband Morris.
Oh, did she?
Because it's really Maurice. But
right.
I just thought you did that on purpose. I think if I were going to be on a raft for 4 months, I think I'd like to be on with capable number 2.
Whatever happened to
a 1
opposites
and a
attract?
2. And we're going to Henry Morgan, please.
I worked it out the other way. Number 3 seems least likely somehow to have gone through this, so I voted for number 3.
Reverse logic. All right, we're all across the board, and Kitty, you're going to have to be the tiebreaker.
It's fascinating. Any one of them could have done it. They're all so pretty. I don't know how they survived this ordeal, but I think number 2, when Bill asked her the first question and she said, "That's correct," I think she kind of knows the whole story.
All right, the votes are in, and as promised, we're going to have Maurice Bailey come out here and pick out his wife. Mr. Bailey, surely after 4 months of such proximity, you must recognize your wife somewhere amongst those 3. I should think she would be very familiar to you by now. Well, now. And there she is in the middle. I'm sure it cares. Number 1, would you tell us what your name is and what you do?
My name is Pat Perez, and I'm a housewife and a freelance translator.
Nice to have you. And Henry Morgan's least likely friend, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Jennifer Sansini. I'm the mother of 2 children, and I'm a secretary at Young & Rubicam Advertising Agency.
Mr. Bailey, usually an adventure like this, I would think, would turn people away from the lure of the sea. But the sea has a way of grabbing people. I understand you have future plans.
Yes, that is right. We're planning to sail next year in a new boat that we're having built in England at this very moment.
You were on your way to New Zealand. Are you going to resume that trip?
Yes, that is our ultimate destination. But our time in the life raft was a time in which we spent, in which we were so close to the sea that we almost became sea creatures ourselves, and now we've been made aware of all the wonderful wildlife out there. We want to get back to it as quickly as possible.
You're to be envied. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Bailey, and thank you, imposters. Well, I think it was Peggy who brought up the fact of are they still friends, and did they get how did they get along, or Kitty, I've forgotten which. But anyhow, not all men and women want a relationship to be permanent. Stick around for a story about singles.
Da Vinci gave me twice the pits and private parts, which makes me smell twice as bad.
A PU?
That's why I use Mando whole body deodorant. The manly deodorant for all the manly crevasses of my manly body.
Mando, he smells good.
Mando doesn't just block odor all day. It controls odor for 72 hours. With cologne quality scents. Roma wasn't built in a day, but with Mando, you can smell good for 3 of them. So if you want to smell better naked, then go to shopmando.com today.
If anyone has told you that gaining weight, feeling tired, and joint issues is just a part of getting older, they are wrong. My name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, and I found a new way to support my health. It's called BioComplete 3. BioComplete 3 works by restoring your gut health from the inside out. This is working for everybody.
I was 270. I'm now 140. It just feels amazing.
You can try BioComplete 3 risk-free for 90 days. Go to guthealthsecret.com.
Look, we know it's going to be a big change.
But it's the right thing to do for all of us.
It's just your mother and I want different things.
Which is why we got Sling TV.
So we can watch live and free TV all in one app?
That's right.
Dad gets live sports and news, and I get my reality shows.
And when we don't want to pay, your mom and I can still get hundreds of channels for free.
Sling is really keeping this family together.
You have no idea.
You have no idea.
Sling, the live TV you love. Sling.
Now let's meet a lady who has some fascinating statistics about what men tell women and vice versa.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Eileen Shannon.
Number 2.
My name is Eileen Shannon.
Number 3.
My name is Eileen Shannon.
And here is the story of Eileen Shannon. She says, I, Eileen Shannon, have originated a unique service called Checkmate. This service is for women who believe that the men they are dating are being less than truthful with them. Perhaps the man is married and pretends he isn't. Or maybe he claims to be married to hide the fact that he is single. Now, please let me make this quite plain. I don't do detective work. I treat these problems as a research project. My sources are all in the public record. The listings of marriages, births, and deaths, the Department of Motor Vehicles, and most useful of all, the plain old ordinary telephone book. This sort of checking is something that each woman could learn to do for herself, and I'm interested in educating women in how to do it on their own. Incidentally, women are not the only ones who need to find out a few facts. I also deal with a similar problem with men, and I call this service Chick Check. Signed, Eileen Shannon. I'm not quite sure I understand the motive in such an enterprise, but we'll turn you over to our Mr. Henry Morgan.
Thank you. Number 3, during Gary's reading of that background, you laughed something incredible. Is that the first time you heard this story?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
I could vote right now. Number 1, a fairly obvious question. Are you married?
No.
Have you ever been married?
Yes.
Ah. This is awfully personal, I suppose, but in the context of this game, do you think that you married under false pretenses?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Number 2, have you ever been married?
Yes.
Are you now?
I am now.
And am now was the answer. We're going down to Kitty.
Well, I'm fascinated. I'm not sure I approve, but I would like to find out how this works. Number 3, what can you learn from the telephone book if a man says he's not married? Number 3.
You can't learn whether he's married or not, but you certainly can learn his statistics and whether or not he is what he says he is,
How?
and so on.
From the telephone book?
Well, the telephone book is only the first source of information.
And what do you find? Number 2, what do you find from the telephone book?
You find if he's given you his correct name and address, first of all.
Aha.
And then you can go on from there.
I see. Number 1, is it legal for you to fish around in the Bureau of Vital Statistics to find out about people's marriages and births and so forth?
Yes, it is.
Totally legal.
Most states are very liberal in giving this information.
And there's nothing illegal about it?
No.
All right, I'm Bill Cullen.
I will stay with number 1. Suppose a girl wants to know if the fellow that she's going with has money or earns a lot of money. Is there any way you can find that out, number 1?
No, I don't go into Dun & Bradstreet.
Well, okay, I'll stay with number 1. Are there other ways of finding out how much a person earns other than Dun & Bradstreet, if you did go in?
Well, through the banks and that sort of thing, but I don't do that.
Number 3, we found out about 1 and 2. Are you or have you ever been married, number 3?
I certainly have.
Number 3, were you in business 18 years ago, number 3?
18 years ago?
Yeah.
I could have been, but I wasn't.
You weren't. Good,
Right.
because that's when I got married. I stopped fooling around then. Up until then, I had a list as long as your arm, Gary. Now, number 2, you also do this for fellas who wow. There we go.
I am sorry. Also, for fellas, we got a buzzer. We just buzz and we go on to Peggy.
Well, number 2, if a fella's name was in the telephone book, why couldn't you call up the number, and if a woman answered, hang up, and then you'd know if he was married or not?
Well, I don't like to do that because if he is married, I wouldn't want his wife to be hurt.
Well, if you hung up, he's a wrong number. Now, number 1, it seems to me it's easy to find out if a fella's married. He's very big at lunchtime dates and always leaves at 10 o'clock at night. Then you could figure out that guy's married, right?
That's a good
Why would I
possibility.
need your service? I'm not dumb. I could figure that out.
Well, you are, but there are a lot of young, naive girls who don't know this. So
Oh,
they do
really?
ask for help, yes.
Well, number 3, did you go to this business because you'd once been burned?
We have got ourselves a bell, which ends the game. Your story reminds me of the story of the kids in a school. They figured out that their school teacher was not married because he came to work every day from a different direction. One way. But in any event, it is time now to mark your ballots, if you will, panel, and it's got to be, of course, for number 1, or for number 2, or for number 3. And
Next, it's a plethora of word puzzles on Password Plus that'll keep you guessing, plus another Password Plus after that. Oh, it's a Password Plus party, if you will. Stay tuned.
Washer's all washed up. I love it.
AC went kaput? That's cool.
With a home warranty from American Home Shield, every day is a good day for a breakdown. You don't have to worry about the day when something stops working or expensive repairs. Because when surprise breakdowns happen, AHS will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your time and money by connecting you with qualified pros and helping pay for covered repairs or replacements. AHS offers affordable plans for every home and options to tailor your coverage so it's just right. With more than 50 years of experience, they know how to keep you smiling when things don't go as planned. It feels good to be right when things go wrong. Get the protection you need with American Home Shield. Sign up today and get $100 off any plan with code AHS100. Visit AHS.com or call 833-PLAN-AHS for this special offer.
Whoa, now that's a smooth shave. You might think these guys had to pay top dollar for a shave that smooth. But they just use Harry's. With 5 blades that stay sharp, shave after shave, a lubricating strip with aloe, a flex hinge, and a trimmer blade, it's hard to believe refills start at just $2, half of what the other guys charge. Shaving with Harry's isn't pricey. It's just very, very, very smooth. Wake up to Harry's. Get your trial set for just $7 at harrys.com/smooth.
Is what looked to me like a kind of tentative stroke.
Oh, tentative doesn't even describe it. But number 3 has such a good time. And number 1 has maybe a 2% Snoopy look. So I rule her out. I figure number 3 is happy because she loves other people and loves to unmask them.
I see.
Or something else.
Well, on any basis, we have a 3, and Kitty.
Well, I voted for a very strange reason, and it doesn't happen very often, but I think number 3 looks like her name is Eileen Shannon.
Hey, I never thought of that.
Well, that's possible. All right, you got a pair of 3s, and Bill Cullen, you say you never thought of that, so your vote must be different.
She looks like an Eileen Shannon, but nobody who does the kind of thing she does for a living could possibly be that happy. I figure she has to find out unpleasant things and stuff like a fella. I used to tell my wife I worked in a garage on a night shift. Put some grease on my hands at 8 o'clock and go, there you are. Anyway.
You are terrible.
We've got a 1 and a pair of 3s in Peggy.
Well, did you ever hear when Irish eyes are smiling? Number 3 laughs so much I figure she must be Irish or very nervous.
Well, all for the same reasons. Number 3 has got 3, and the votes are in, so will the real. Eileen Shannon, please stand up. Thank you, Eileen. Let's find out about your imposters. Number 1, please. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Vera Gary, and I'm a secretary at the New York Athletic Club.
And number 2, you want to tell us about you?
Yes, my name is Sharon Rabondo, and I own the Colonnades restaurant in New York.
Well, Eileen Shannon, thank you very much, and thank you, imposters, for a nifty few minutes. Take care.
It happens. You rip, tear, and never have time to repair. Wait. Before you throw it away, let Mighty Mend It save the day. Hi, Billy Mays here for Mighty Mend It, the fast, easy way to mend, hem, and wear it again, saving you money. Mighty Mend It is not a glue, but a flexible bonding agent that grabs, adheres, and interlocks the fibers of virtually any fabric for a permanent repair. Sewing takes forever, but with Mighty Mend It, just apply, gently touch, and mend it. It has the strength to withstand storm force winds. Amazing! Easily mend a hem at your desk to look your best. Even if you sit and split, Mighty Mend It will quickly fix it. Mend pillows and comforters right on the bed, or make furniture repairs and save money. Mighty Mend It dries crystal clear and is safe for most any fabrics. Plus, it's machine washable. Even after 50 washes, the bond still stays strong. Whether it's denim, leather, or lace, you can use Mighty Mend It anytime, any place. We even repaired this parachute with Mighty Mend It, and it still has the strength to safely bring down this skydiver from 13,000 feet. Now that's the power of Mighty Mend It. Plus, it's ideal for scrapbooking or craft projects. You'll find hundreds of money-saving uses.
Call or go online to get the complete Mighty Mend It kit that includes 1 large bottle. But for everyone who orders today, we'll triple the bottles, plus give you a travel size and the money-saving idea guide, absolutely free. But we're not done. We'll also include a bottle of Gem It. Now you can add bling to just about anything, free. You get it all at incredible value for just $29.99. Order now.
Call 1-800-250-1549. That's 1-800-250-1549, or go online to mightymended.com.
Addiction is an epidemic. Millions are struggling and over 100 lives are lost each day. Are you next? At Better Addiction Care, we understand the devastating impact of drug and alcohol addiction. Our network of treatment centers offer detox, therapy, counseling, private luxurious centers, physical fitness, chef-prepared meals, aftercare, and your insurance may cover up to 100% of costs. Visit betteraddictioncare.com or call 855-598-9901.
Well, that does us in for this time around, friends. Try to tune us in again sometime. Meanwhile, don't get any on you. Take care.
This is Bill Wendell speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Chapman production.